In terms of how we prioritize, excuse me, um, we used a combination of the framework, as I mentioned, this qualification framework around what the impact was, and then our war room, and then a set of standard metrics that we've developed to track processes and their impacts and their effect around how we're mitigating. So for us, the key priority for us was really identifying what are the nodes within our network that have had the most impact. And again, that kind of goes back to this rating system that I just described before. And we were very quickly, I think within the first couple days, based on reaching out to our supply partners, talking with Cisco people that were on the ground in Japan, able to very quickly identify what were those key nodes or partners that had the most impact. What were the ones that were underwater? What were the ones that had really taken a lot of damage from the earthquake, and then what were the ones that were the closest to the nuclear power situation. So once we were able to identify which nodes or partners really had the most impact, it was a process that we used, and again, this is part of the war room and our playbooks, of understanding, okay, if these partners are going to be down for, let's say, a week or 2 months or completely off the map because we think the plant is completely destroyed, we're able to flow that through a number of systems that we have within Cisco supply chain planning process to understand what the impacts are going to be, not only for customer orders that we've got, in, let's say, the next couple weeks, but more importantly over the next couple months, and then begin formulating a plan around, okay, based on how quickly we can mitigate, based on factors like whether we have an alternatively qualified source or whether we've got extra inventory or just the nature of the commodity and the impact, how quickly are we going to be able to replace that supply? And then over the course of that time and matching that, what's going to be the gap? And is that gap going to be so critical that we're suddenly going to start missing customer orders or delivery dates? Or if it's not going to be us missing, but it's something where there is going to be an impact, we need to very quickly communicate to customers. So we have this whole process and set of metrics that we go through to understand, and we were able to create kind of what we called heat maps that really show on a customer by customer basis, and we're talking about hundreds of customers. What are the impacts to the orders right now in the next couple weeks, in the next couple quarters? And then we began to formulate these Tiger teams, customer-facing teams, where we matched key executives, and it was typically sales account executives as well as supply chain executives, to go have very proactive discussions with our customers about what these impacts were going to be. And if it was something where, let's say, we couldn't get a product, based on an order commitment that we had, we'd be able to communicate to them when we would be able to get that order, or begin to work with them and some of the people that are deploying a network or whatnot that need our equipment around alternatives for that specific product. Maybe we can go to the next higher product set and replace it with that. So the way that we prioritize, again, really is almost sort of working backward from the customer, because that's what the mitigation is all about, is really getting visibility into the impacts as quickly as we can, flowing that through to understand what the impact of the customer is going to be, and then really getting out in front of the customer and having those discussions such that there's no surprises and we give them as much visibility into the impact as we possibly can. And I think that's really kind of the success, if you will, that our war room allows us to have, is the fact that instead of spending a week or 2 or 3 organizing a team and trying to kind of create a process in the middle of all this chaos, we've got a tested, vetted process that people are trained on, and we've got the tools and the processes in place such that we can focus on understanding what's the impact, not only at the ground level, but what does that mean for our customers and our stakeholders. And then bringing that all together and then working mitigation on a day-to-day basis such that, within, the first week and a half, we had our arms around the situation and felt very confident that regardless how bad or worse the situation would get with the nuclear zone and the lack of power and things like that, that we would be able to stay on top of it, and we would be able to be out in front of our customers having these conversations such that they don't feel the pain, if you will.